Hello, this is Eric at RC Monster Garage. What we're gonna do today, we're gonna show you how to paint this. The Viper 977, the EVO 2. I'm gonna show you guys how to do this cool paint job. This is very hard to do if you look at it, but I'm gonna show you a way to make it very simple. This is supposed to be all airbrush, but there is a way to do some of the details with actually regular brushed. So what I did is all those brush strokes supposed to be if it's hit paint and paint gun all over the car. I already gone ahead and draw it outline where I need to do that, where gonna be the flow of the black. I did it on top. You can kind of draw on top of those bodies because it's have a protective layer. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna take some paint and we're gonna take a brush and we're just gonna fill it up from the inside. Before we do that, I already degreased this with a special degreaser, and what we're gonna do now is just shake very good the paint. If you have a small marble, you need to hear the marble hitting, and we're gonna go over all the area that inside have lines, and then certain area that have dots, we're gonna use a Q-tips and just tap it. I'm gonna show you how it's work. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see all the special effect that I'm gonna teach you guys how to do. So this is a special RC paint, and it's pretty stink. You guys cannot smell it over the camera, but I can guarantee to you guys this is pretty stink right now. So what I'm doing, I'm actually just drawing inside of the line that I did, and I try to do that very rough because the drawing itself is supposed to be like paint got splatter all over the vehicle. I highly recommend if you're doing this paint job and you're using any of the RC paint that you spray, you need to have a spray mask on your face to protect yourself. So just to show real quick, this is the black. I'm just gonna add more, and you cannot really see that it's done with a brush. After the entire paint will lay down on this, you're not gonna be able to see because it's gonna close all the area that light can go through, and it's going to be completely sealed. Now when you get to the edges, always overlap. The body going to get cut where the black line on the bottom, so make sure to go over everything. Now let's keep going here into the side. And the cool thing when you have to work with a brush from time to time, it's that you can do like a special effect that's impossible to do with airbrush. It's very thin line, kind of like if something hit it and caused some scratches. So it's very cool. I really like to work with a brush from time to time on my RC stuff. But you have to make sure that you don't put too much paint, because if you're going to put too much paint, you're going to create runs while you're moving it. So you have to be very, very gentle. And let's look at the drawing again. It's look pretty promising. There's a couple of stroke here. You guys are gonna see in a second how it's looked from the other side. I just don't want to flip it before we cover a pretty decent area. And there is no wrong way to do that. What you're doing is you're painting an RC body. You can create your own way to apply the paint. You just have to have fun doing it. Nobody can tell you that you did it wrong. It's part of the hobby to be able to do whatever you want, the way that you want it. Now the good thing with this kind of paint, this is a special paint for Lexan. so it's gonna get cured really quick. It's actually curing on the brush as I'm working on it. Now let me flip it real quick and just show you that. Okay, so this is the beginning. I'm gonna go here to the side so you guys can also hear me better. This is the beginning of that, all the black. Then we're gonna hit the side just to make it dirty. Later I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna have here some skulls on the side and some other special effect that I'm gonna teach you guys how to do. Then you know, it's a special effect. What I did, I just put some paint and I'm just tapping it in order to create all those dots like in the original drawing. Look pretty good. It's kind of, I just did it very dirty. And this is actually the splatter that you get on the original car. Is going to be all those little dots and splatter of paint. I did it all over. And now what we need to do is let it dry a little bit. Go over, see where we need to do any kind of small repairs and go from there for the orange. So this was the base, just to make it dirty, make it ready for the drawing. Don't forget, like and subscribe. We're jumping into the spray and I'm gonna have to go to my other table. What we're doing right now, we're gonna add skulls over here. It's a couple skulls from a template. Very simple to do. All you need to do is have a template and kind of press your template in so it's gonna be smooth. And gently airbrush some paint. And you have to tape it in. If you're not going to tape it in, it's gonna move on you. After you do the first layer, you have to let some airflow on it. You know, I can put some black in other spots. And what I'm doing, I'm using a candy black because the candy black will look nicer with the orange than actually using another color later. See? And again, you have to do this very gently so later you can graduate this thing with some other design. Let it dry a bit and you go again. I'm using a screwdriver just to press down on the template. Okay, and let's pare it down a little bit more. Now when you're working on a project like this, if you have a problem and you're using water base, you can just take water and delete it. The black, I already did it with actually special Lexan paint, so it's never gonna come out, but the water base for the airbrush. Okay, so we did some of the skulls here. Now we have to add some white so the skulls can pop a little bit more. I'm gonna add a little white with the airbrush and then we start with the orange. just want to put a couple drop in your airbrush. And make sure that the color coming out very clean. Now I'm gonna show you guys in a quick second how this thing already start turning. We have over here kind of a layer of skulls, and it has some black around it that I'm gonna fix in a second. And let's see, we need a little bit more white. Okay, so this is our skulls with the white, and I'm gonna clean it in a minute. It's very dirty right now. I'm gonna go with a Q-tip and clean it just so it's gonna look nicer. And we're gonna do the other side real quick. And this is our other side of those skulls, and I'm gonna do one more tiny layer of white, and then I'm gonna put a little bit ghost flame around it just so it's gonna look cooler. When you work with the airbrush, it's real gonna get clogged on you. If you're new to airbrush, you just have to clean the needle and then put your cup back. It's helping like with the airflow. Okay, let's look what we got. Got pretty nice variety over here of skulls. Okay, so now I need to make it a little bit dirty, because the entire point of this body is like if it looks like if it's heat paint and paint flown all over the place. I'm just gonna add a little bit with a Q-tip, soak it in a little bit, then kind of randomly go over here and make all those kind of hit marks. Okay, now let's show you how it's looking when you make it a little bit dirty. And I'm gonna start doing the other side. It's a little bit here. Okay, let's close this because it stinks. Okay, so we have some of the skulls here. Again, it's very basic, it's just the beginning of this entire paint job. And we have here some. Probably add a little bit more here on the top. Now we're gonna have to do some carbon fiber effect, and this is gonna be the next video, is doing the carbon fiber effect on this in certain area. Okay, so let's turn on the light to be easier. I'm gonna do right now some special effect. This is just like kind of it's a women's stockings that you used to do kind of special effect, like to look like carbon. So just gonna spray, make it a little bit dirty all around. I'm using candy orange right now, just to create a little bit special effect. That's it. I just want it to be dirty. and that's it. You have to, when you spray this specific color, you have to be careful because those colors are urethane colors and it's really unhealthy. You have to have the area really good ventilated. Now let me show you how it's look from the other side, and then we continue. Okay, so this is how it's look from the inside, and from the other side it's gonna look a little bit like a carbon fiber. And I'm gonna do the other side as well, and then we're gonna start adding the random color to it. See you in a second. Okay, we're gonna do the same on the front over here. Just make it a little bit look like carbon. And what we're actually doing is just making it dirty. You can see the fume from the paint. Usually you want to mask everything around, but not on this case because we need everything to be dirty. This design is very dirty. Okay, and then we just pull this thing off. And now I will just take the airbrush with whatever paint left and I kind of randomly make some lines on it, exactly like they have in the original design. Oops, don't want to drop it. Now I'm gonna have to change the color and give some red accent to some of this. If you want to see how it looks so far. Okay, so far it's looked like nothing. There is probably very hard to see. Put the paper underneath. So it's look right now, but wait until it's done. I know what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm gonna put some red and give it some highlighting red. So now we start going with the red, just making it very dirty. I'm looking at the original photo and it has some red here on the front. The color that I'm using right now is actually water-based. It's called Roost Beer, Candy Roost Beer. It's a very nice color when it's dry. And what we're doing right now, we're just using it to make everything dirty. So on this car, it's looked like if there was an explosion of paint of orange and red and yellow. So we need to create this kind of cloud image of it, of whatever color that was spraying out of it. And in one side it's more red than the other. This is on the left, so this is my left. And we let it cure for a second, and meanwhile gonna mix more. This is how dark it is. As you probably think, so far it looks like a disaster, but this is exactly how you want it to look. Okay, so this is how it looks right now on the front. It's still not there yet, but we're building it. We have more red on the front, just need to dry more. Now, if I will put paper underneath, you will see it's gonna get red, but we need to add now more orange to make it darker. Okay, so far I just got outside and I shot the candy inside. I could not really do that with the camera because it's gonna ruin the lens even from far. And now I need to do another candy, dark candy on the front in order to give it a more transparent look for red. So we're using a candy red right now just for the front. Now, one trick that I'm doing right now, I'm actually using a candy color on top of candy color, but one is water based and one is urethane. So I start with the urethane and now I'm doing the water base on top of it. Okay. Save the first layer. I'm gonna leave it in the sun right now for like about 10 minutes and we come back to it. Okay, just a quick view. So I just sprayed the red on it, the candy red. You can already see that the body changing the color from red into yellow. I gradually keep adding the paint. You cannot accelerate paint process. You have to do it very slowly and you need to pay attention to what you're doing. Right now, especially in those bodies that have those fins, the airbrush paint don't really want to go there. Even if you try to open it, they don't open a lot. So you have to be very gentle and very slow to do that. So this is how it looks from the inside. I'm gonna leave it right now, even though it's dry to the touch. I'm gonna leave it for 24 hours to kind of cure. So when we do the next layer, they're not gonna have any chemical reaction because we're building a lot of different colors and with a couple different brands of colors. And what we're trying to do is giving this shine that you guys see here. So whenever it's going to be done, everything's going to be nice and shiny. And then we're going to end up adding some more special effect. So stay tuned, we keep going on this project. And if you did not like and subscribe, on the bottom over there, like, subscribe, share, and press the bell icon. We're giving a lot of cool gifts, but if you don't subscribe and you don't watch entire video, you cannot have it. We're gonna be back to it tomorrow or on your video in 2 seconds, and you will see what we do next. Okay, so what we do now, I cut it with my sticker cutter. I did like this design, like a honeycomb that needs to go all over here. And we're gonna try to reuse it as many times we can because this was a nightmare to pull those one by one and actually join it in the computer was something else. And let's do this real quick. Let's start with the front here. It's have a small area. Now when you do that, you have to be very gentle the way that you apply it, not to press it too strong because you just want to make the area dirty in this shape. You don't want it to get too much paint because then it's gonna stick and it's not gonna come out. Let's go with the red right now. I'm doing like fire red, and what we're gonna do is just make it a little bit dirty. And if you flip it, you can see, let's see if I lift it a little bit in the light. Now when I will pull it out, this area will be darker. Let's run one more time. And I can gently pull it out, and you can see it inside. It will look nicer after you shoot the base on it. Now this specific design was kind of all over the vehicle, so I tried to put it also on where the headlights are. cool thing with the vinyl is sometimes it's very flexible, so it's easier to get with it anywhere. Okay, now, right now this is very wet. If I'm gonna put it again, I'm gonna actually mess everything out. So what you want to do is just take a piece of tape or anything else and just slightly wipe it, so it's not gonna transfer to your finger or anywhere else. Let's go do this area. And again, I just tapped it in. It's just certain area, it's not the entire vehicle full of it. If you look on the real design, this is what they did. And for this application, I'm using water-based, and I'm using very thick paint. I probably should have reduced it a little bit more, but I wanted it to be like as dark as possible. I can show you right now. You can see it right there. And now this thing, we're having some on the back over here as well. And those things will take time to do, so if you don't have patience, you're gonna have to go relax and come back and do that, because you can do that all day long and have fun with it. Or if you don't have patience to put it on and off, you're just gonna end up messing up your paint job. And again, we're trying to do this, so we try to do it as nice as possible. Actually, this needs to be, good that I look, it needs to be right here instead. Different location, and it's actually look better there. Just to clarify, this is how much paint you have in your airbrush. It's only a couple drop inside. Do not ever fill it up, because you will pour it. And we need to do the other side as well. Oh, it's ended up really nice on this one. What I'm gonna do now, I know that it's pretty wet, so I'm gonna wipe it and tap it at the same time. Like this, I know that it's gonna hit where it's supposed to, and I'm not gonna have any problem. And over paint, whatever overspray, and whatever the napkin touch will just disappear right now when I'm gonna spray it. Okay, this is good. Now we're gonna pull it out gently, and okay, let's put it here for a second to dry. Now, okay, if I take a piece of paper, white, and put it on the back, then it will be maybe easier to see what the design that we just did. Let's go closer, and you can see it's from inside. Now, when you look from the inside, everything look the wrong way, but after you're gonna finish it and put the base coat, now it's all candy, it's still very clear. Then this how all those red gonna pop, and this is gonna be one of kind of the most beautiful. Now, one thing, if you're doing this specific body, I try any way possible. There's no way to put paint inside here. This entire area here inside is just not doable to put paint in, even with the airbrush. This is why in the original picture, while it's curing, I'm gonna talk for a second. This area here, don't have any paint in it. It's not that they did like a fadeaway. This is just impossible to put the paint, and I got exactly the same effect as they did. It's literally the same without even trying, because this is how it's gonna be. It's just not gonna get paint there. You can pour paint there, but it's not gonna really work. Let's continue with this. Now we need to do the side. So the side over here was having the same pattern, and I have to say that this pattern is working really good for me. I'm really happy with it. There is a lot of other way to use like a fishnet or anything, but with a vinyl sticker it will stick actually to the area and stay there. So if there is a change in the curve of the vehicle, it will actually work perfect for you. Just so you see on the napkin, this is how much paint this is releasing in a second. And we're gonna do the other side very gently. When you pull those things out, even when the paint is dry and pure, this is when most problems are happening, and suddenly something's gonna come out and ruin everything you did. So you have to be very careful. We're gonna tap this again, so it's gonna get all the curves. I lost the grip point. Okay, and then there was another one kind of here above the wheel. We want to make sure we don't miss this one. This one is an important one. It's merged with some of the other graphics. And here you're going to start from the corner and just merge it up. That's it. Just very slightly, because further you're going back, you want to put less material, so it's going to look like fade away toward the outside. Again, if you see it from here, let's see, a little bit more angle. From here you put more paint, in here less. So you're gonna shoot it and try to kind of fade it toward the back. More paint here, less paint there. Then let's pull this thing up. Okay, it's looking pretty awesome. So this is how it's look right now, those curves. And those curves are gonna look in a second much nicer when we're gonna shoot another layer of candy yellow on it. And we have them also here on the front all over. So let's see. Now comparison test. I need to look at the drawing and see if I'm missing anything anywhere. So the black, I have the black everywhere already. We just did the honeycomb pattern, and there is some of the carbon pattern, and those two will come out very nicely in the sun one after the other. We did the back over here fading away with all the dirt, and this area will stay yellow, and we add the other skulls to it, so it's kind of perfect right now. You just need to get some spray of the candy yellow inside one more time, candy orange, and then I need to shoot silver and then black for the windshield. I'm gonna go outside right now and shoot the yellow and the candy red. I cannot really show how to do that because it's gonna ruin the camera. It's making a big cloud of this material, so I'm just gonna explain real quick what I do. I take the airbrush, I reduce the paint, and I just spray it all over, let it dry. When it's completely cured to the touch, I will clean it with very gently with dry cloths, very gently to clean the areas. and then I'm gonna go over and do that again just so everything is clean. I'm gonna go outside, shoot it, and come back. See you in a second. Hey, you did not like and subscribe yet. Right there, like and subscribe, come on. So here is a quick view how it looks. This is just inside, so you cannot really see all the special effect that we did. Even if you look very carefully here, you're not gonna see anything, but wait until you see the magic in the sun in a minute. And now what I did on the inside, it's all silver. Actually, I shot gold first and then silver to make it pop, as you will see it soon. Okay, so this is how it ended up in the sun. So we still have the non-scratch cover on it here, so it's not really as shiny. I need to cut the body first. I just wanted to show you first. Let's look at the sun and then show you guys some cool special effect. Pay attention over here to these lines, those square pieces. I'll just go in a second. And now they're no longer there. The same on the front, if you look right there. And I will keep moving. And suddenly they're gonna disappear completely. And they're gonna reappear in a different angle. This was the special effect that I was talking about. Okay, so now we just have to go and cut it. Now, just so you see, special effect. If you want to know how to do that, you have to watch the entire video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay, so this is the inside. I forgot to show that. So after I shot the sealer, I shot gold on top of the gold, silver on top of the silver, primer black. So what it does, it's like painting a real car, just in reverse. So now it's gonna seal, and when you flip it, all the special effect will come out to life. I want you to look here. Pay attention over there. Right there. Look what will happen in a second. Change from honeycomb to kind of carbon fiber looking. Really cool. Okay, so we're at the part where we need to cut. Cutting those bodies can be a little bit tricky. You have here the marking inside. It's really hard to see, but there is very thin line. What I usually recommend to do, if you look here, the cut line is right there. We're gonna trim this part at the bottom first. There is two different scissors to use. One that they have a little bit curve in them, and one that they actually just straight. The curve one work excellent for everything. If you just need long line, this can be good as well. There's other tools. This is what I like to use. Let's cut it. We have to be very gentle because this took a long time to do. So I'm just gonna clean it up first. I'm doing a very rough first trim. I'm trying to stay about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch away from the actual line that I need to cut. Now when you get here to where the thickest material, this is going to be a little bit of a pain to cut. Just take your time and do that slowly because it can suddenly snap on you. Those edges, if you put too much pressure, it will just snap and break. So just do that gently. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut it here and get rid of this piece. The reason is I don't want too big of a piece. It's just going to cause problem later. We have a straight line here that I could see. I just stained a little bit under it, and then here the circle. Yes, easy. I actually did it with two break lines, and then you get to the back. The back here is pretty critical because there is a couple different angles. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna cut it first short and then go back there. First of all, we're gonna get rid of this. And we're getting back here, and okay. So, okay. Now we have a little bit of a shorter body. Now it's going to be a little bit more clumsy because it's very, very thin. This material is very thin. I highly recommend when you do a 1/8 scale body, if it's not 2mm, to put duct tape or Gorilla tape or anything inside, just to make it a little bit stiffer. Let's start with here. So here we have a nice curve that we really want to keep. So I'm gonna start with a small curved scissors, and it's hard to see, but there's a line here. I don't know if the camera will catch it or not. I will try to get into this line and gently keep it. Now there is a nice turn here. Okay, now I'm gonna stop right there, and I'm gonna take my bigger scissor. That will be easier to cut straight line for a longer run at one bite. It's really hard to do that and trying to point it to the camera, so I hope that it's gonna get caught. And then over here where the curve start again, gently you just take tiny bite, and where it's need to curve here again, I will flip the scissor to the area that it's actually kind of curved into, and use the edge of it just to break through this corner. And then again over here I have a straight line. I'm gonna go back to my longer scissors, and I'm gonna cut it all the way until it's clean through. So now we have the rear curve. I'm still gonna need to clean it up. It's not as clean as I want it. And we have this curve that now I'm gonna already clean. Okay, now I'm gonna look around. I have here the same thing. So here I'm gonna do it reverse. I'm gonna start from the outside inside. This is something with the experience. You're gonna learn what you want to do and what worked for you the best, and you will see that every different body that you're gonna work on gonna have different curves, and you're gonna have to do it in a little bit different way. Okay, so this line is finished. Now we have a line here, we have a circle, and we have another line. So what we want to do first is get rid of all the straight line, so we're gonna have less area to block us. So what I like to do, I do a center line inside of the circle first. It's easier that it's gonna move, and we have like kind of edges that we can stop the cut on those edges. And usually if it's really hard to see, you do have the scratch proof mask on top of this, so you can actually draw with a Sharpie on it and mark whatever you need. You can do it with a ruler or any other any other Sharpie or anything that will leave mark on those bodies. Okay, so now this is how short to the ground this body is going to be. This is the lowest point, and now I'm gonna just make this one is a straight line. Just gonna cut it so it's ready for me. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start doing the curves. Even though there is still straight line here, I'm gonna test the curve here and see how the material is going to react to it. There is a circle right here. It's a little bit hard to see, but it's there. And this is where those curved scissors really come in handy to make all those turns. If this is your first time cutting RC body, you should probably take some of those, I would say one of those plastic that the cheese come in, or any of the other plastic container, and just cut them and just practice how the scissors will flow on it. It will help you a lot. And let's go and do the front one. So we have one side of the vehicle completed, and then later I'm going to go over with the Dremel and I'm going to smooth this. Right now with the scissor it's actually nice, but it's not as nice as it should be. I'm going to smooth it out, and actually after you put the wheels on the car you have to smooth it up again. It's all depends on the size of the wheels. I'm going to go back to the other side. Okay, this is the lowest point, and then you should wait to the end of the video because I'm gonna remove the mask and take it to the sun and show you guys a really cool special effects. Okay, this is the back. Okay, so this is cut, straight is cut, but we still have the entire front here, and this is where this thing is going to be a little bit complicated, because what you need to do here is cut through the curves. So I'm gonna start gently cutting right here with the small scissors actually, because it will be much easier to take the curves with those. Okay, and I got to where it's gonna go back to be straight, and I can just get rid of this piece and then go over there. And what we're gonna do now is something a little bit tricky. I will get in from the outside in, and the reason I'm doing this because those scissors like to flow in a one direction, and it will be very hard to change from a left hand to a right hand to cut something. It's never gonna be straight. Now we're gonna go here, set this in a straight long line, and that's it. Now I still have to clean this long line here, and this is actually pretty thick material, so you have to put a little bit more power on it. This is the front of the car. So our vehicle right now is cut completely. If you look here, it's pretty nice. The cuts are fitting. Here I'm gonna trim it just to make it on the line. Let's see, the other side is good. Okay, this is almost ready. I have all those leftovers. I usually like to keep some of those leftover with a special effect, because later you can show customers what you did. Even though this looks stroked, this is actually how the design is. If the car hits some paint and the paint splatter all over it. And then here there is all those honeycombs that change color and move. So I got all those here as well. Now what we need to do is just take the Dremel tool and gently smooth this. I'm gonna set it up and show you guys how to do that. Now we have here the Dremel tool. You have to make sure that it starts pretty strong. We have a big wheel. It's a sanding wheel. You have to be very, very careful when you do that, and very, very gentle. If not, you can ruin the body, but you can also get hurt if this is flying to your face. Okay, so we have the two round pieces. I'm gonna do the other side, but I have to tell you guys something. It's hilarious. While trimming this, the place is got full with the smell of grilled cheese sandwich from melting this plastic. This is just hilarious. Okay, so the lines here are completely as they should be. They're very smooth. They're not cutting or anything, so it's perfect. And this body is ready to get stripped to the sun. Let's go and do that. Okay, so now the fun part is to peel the non-stretch material and see how everything is gonna start popping like crazy. Color completely change. Okay, one more. That's it. We have this thing ready and it just looks amazing in the sun. I'm just gonna grab the Lazy Susan so it's gonna look nicer. There it is. With this way.